Hey there YouTube, classic reviewer here, and today I'm doing another Walt Disney childhood favorite nostalgia video. So that was a bit of a mouthful, sorry about that. So yeah, this is a late 90s movie that I believe is today underrated, not too underrated, but at the same time, it's a movie I very don't often hear people talking about. It's one of my, obviously, one of my personal favorite Disney movies, as all these videos are, but yeah, this movie would have to be, it's not in my personal top 10 of Disney movies, but same time, it is pretty close to being on top 10. If I want to make a top 10 video, yeah, I'll definitely try and include it in there somewhere. Okay, so anyone like to guess what the movie is? It's from 1998. If I said that already, I do apologize. Anyone want to guess? Anyone? No guesses? No? Okay. Alright, so movie I'm talking about today is, of course, The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. This is my personal favorite of the three Lion King movies. It is, yeah, that's why this one's gained on first. I will do reviews on the original and Lion King 3 or Lion King 1.5, whichever one you prefer to call it. I will get to those in time, however, I'm just doing this one as it's my personal favourite of the three. And I will explain why that is later on in the video. But for now, I'm going to quickly talk through the characters and the actors that are on the main cover. So yep, you've got, returning from the original one, you've got Simba, who's voiced by Matthew Broderick again. Of course, you've got the ever lovable Timon and Pumbaa. Timon voiced by Nathan Lane. Pumbaa by Ernie something. Sorry guys. Ernie Sabella, that's it. Ernie Sabella is Pumbaa. Who's Cover again? Oh yeah, Jason Marsden is Kovu. Sorry guys, it's just that it's been a while since I've done any kind of research or looking around this movie, so I'm a little what's it with the actors' names. I know all the characters' name off by heart, but actors came later, so, well, in my experience, the actors came later, so bear with me. And Kiara. Oh, first of all, Zira, who's this, lovely, well, not so lovely, she's the villain, I'll explain why. She's played by, Suzanne, Plezette, I think it's pronounced, Plezette, yeah. And then Kiara is, of course, Neve Campbell. That's Kiara here, who happens to be, Simba's daughter. Kovu is Zira's daughter. Daughter. I'm an idiot. Zira's son. Sorry, I just had I don't know what happened there. Mind blank or whatever they're called. Anyways, story is, it's quite similar to the first one, you could argue. The intro of it is virtually the same. It's the it's a retake on the whole circle of life intro that was done from the original. It was obviously because it was just basically like might as well start it off the same because nostalgia and because it's the same basic beginning really. Start off with the animals coming to Pride Rock to basically see Kiara for the first time, Princess Kiara. Basically, so yeah, that's all pretty much the same. It is Rafiki holds her up to the crowds and pretty much introduces her to the animal kingdom. So yeah, basically then I think it's like in like movie time it'd be like a few months, no, not a few months, like a few years later because she's supposed to be now a little kid, kind of like how they did with Simba in the original movie, but I'll get onto that more when I review the original movie. So yeah, unlike Simba, she's very Kiara is very curious, very rebellious kind of person. What person I guess you'd call lion cub, whatever you refer to them as. If you refer to them as a person or animal, it doesn't really matter. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, some time passes, let's say, and Kiara has grown up a bit. She knows. She's basically like the age of like 6 or whatever, so she's just beginning to start I am so sorry, I am in an absolute tizzy right now. I had no idea why, honestly. I know this movie, don't get me wrong, I've watched it that many times, but it's just been a little while. So yeah, Kiara one day gets curious of this place that's introduced to us in the second movie called the Outlands. Basically, it's rehashed elephant graveyard from the first movie, except it's now a giant desert, pretty much. That was somehow missed in the original movie, but anyways, that all aside, it doesn't really matter at this point. It happens, so whatever. Pretty much, Simba, he's basically very protective of Kiara because he's still learning from his dad, Mufasa, played by James Earl Jones, who does make a brief cameo in this movie. He does, obviously, as Spirit Mufasa. And he also appears again later in the movie. Oh dear, where am I? Oh yeah, so yeah, pretty much he's very protective of her and he doesn't like her wandering off. Like, he eventually allows her to wander off, but he still tells her to pretty much stay within sight of Pride Rock, to stay on the path and whatever. Because he's finally realizing what it's like to be a father and to have kids. Like, when he was younger, he didn't have to worry about any of this, but now he has a kid and responsibilities, so his character is still definitely being developed in this movie. So, so he sends Timon and Pumbaa to look after Kiara. Well, basically just to keep an eye on her, which is something that frustrates her throughout the movie. does, because she sees it as him not really letting her be herself, pretty much. It's him trying to. She sees it as him trying to force her into, like, being the pretty princess, doing all this stuff that she retrospectively would rather not be doing, pretty much. So, anyways, enough rambling on about that. She gets to the Outlands and she meets up with Kovu, who initially doesn't know what to make of Kiara, because basically, he's the only lines he's seen are his family clan, which are labeled the Outsiders. The reason why they're called Outsiders is because somewhere between the first movie and the second movie, this clan of lines got got exiled because I believe they wanted to start a rebellion because of Zira, who I think, if I'm remembering the lore correctly, was sibling of Scar, or maybe she was technically married to Scar. Like, she was once part of the Pride Lines in that. Pride Line lines, but she saw Simba killing Scar, the rightful king, as... Well, she saw Scar, first of all, as the rightful heir. She didn't believe Simba's story about Scar killing Mufasa. More of that when I get to doing the original, but anyways, yeah, so Simba exiles her and the other outsiders to, well, basically all the other lines and lionesses that joined around Zira in that, so pretty much, sorry guys, yeah, so pretty much, what am I saying? Oh, yeah, so basically, because Kovu was born after this, he initially has no idea about, well, he does have an idea, but he doesn't really get it at all because he's still young, he's naive, whatever. So when he meets Kiara, he has no real idea what to make of her, because instead of fighting like he's always done, like, she's more interested in, like, playing tag and other childish stuff like that. So yeah, he has no idea what to make of her, but soon afterwards they basically fall down into this river. They do, pretty much, that is infested with crocodiles. It is. And pretty much 5 minutes they're just scrambling around trying not to get eaten by crocodiles. Yeah, so they eventually escape that, they do. And then pretty much they came out on the other side, which is the Pride Land side. And Zira, unbeknownst to Kovu and Kiara, has been watching them the whole time, and she is displeased that Kovu would pretty much lower himself to even, even being with a Pridelander, like, even socializing with one. So pretty much she gets angry with him, and Simba, who was tipped off by Pumbaa and Timon that Kiara had gone into the Outlands, had pretty much raced along to the scene with Nala and some other lionesses. Pretty much, Oh my god. Sorry, it's just stuff stuck in my throat. It's really annoying me. Sorry. So yeah, pretty much a brief argument ensues between Simba and Zira. Unfortunately, because Simba has five five lionesses backing him up, whereas Zira just has herself. She doesn't engage with Simba, but sadistically she pretty much, like, the agreement is that no outsider is to cross. If any member of either side crosses into the other clan's territory, pretty much, like, the payment is death. And basically, like, one of Zira's more sadistic moments in this movie is that Simba reminds her of this, that the penalty is death, that she shouldn't be here. But at the end of the day, she tells him that, that her son doesn't realize this, doesn't understand this, and what's sadistic about it is that she mockingly offers Kovu up as, like, a child sacrifice, pretty much, to Simba, pretty much challenging him to. Sorry, I'm gonna put that down because that's getting very heavy moment. But yeah, pretty much challenges him to try and pretty much saying that it doesn't matter what he says, pretty much, because at the end of the day, she knows he's not going to do it. So, at the end of the day, he's not going to enforce that rule. And because he doesn't take her challenge, he just looks at her with a look of disgust. Like, I believe that's the moment when she decides he's weak, that he's not. Well, she's already pretty much decided that he's not fit to rule in that, but this just further confirms that he's, I guess, in her mind, not willing to, like, I don't know, it's just, for a kid's movie, it's a very dark moment, let's just say. So they part ways, they do, and Simba and Zira treat their kids in different ways. Whereas Simba, like, he's angry with Kiara for running away and disobeying him, pretty much. At the same time, he tries to emulate his father, and tries to teach her that at the end of the day, try and get on with everyone, because, everyone, we are all the same, everyone, although we are different, we are all, like, lions, or we as people could take it as, like, like, I suppose anti-racism sort of message in a kid's movie. Like, doesn't matter if, persons from a different culture, at the same time, they're still people. So the thing, and, like, you still try to get along with them. Which is quite funny because, as we find out later on in the movie, and I'm definitely going to have to make this two-parter, maybe even a three-parter, honestly, because I am just getting nowhere with this right now. But, sorry. It's funny because, at the end of the day, it takes him time to understand the true meaning of this. It takes her time as well, but nowhere near as long as it takes Simba too, and that's one of the funny parts of this movie, is that it also delivers another message as well, that just because you're older than someone else, just because you're the parent and they're the child, that doesn't mean that you are more knowledgeable. Realistically, yes, in some aspects you will be more knowledgeable, more experienced in that, but you can't assume that for every topic. Pretty much, there's always going to be someone who knows more about something than you do. So, at the same time, Zero is pretty much coming out with getting angry with Kovu, and Kovu says something about he only wanted to be friends with Kiara, that he didn't see her as being bad. And this pretty much sets Zero's sadistic mind into thinking mode. And she basically comes up with the plan that Kovu becomes basically an infiltration agent, like a sleeper agent or whatever. When, he trains to become that, and then when he's older, he goes and, tries to win Kiara's trust over. And pretty much her plan is for Kiara, Simba, and Nat to come and trust him. She knows they'll remember and that they won't trust him straight away. But pretty much the idea is that eventually they will become to trust him, that they'll try to see him in a different light, and then Kovu will basically drag Simba away. Well, not drag him away, lure him away to an isolated spot so that Zero and her clan can basically assassinate him, pretty much, and take over the Pride Lands for themselves. So, yeah, so obviously, as you can see, two different views. One parent, whilst angry, but at the same time, that anger stems from worry rather than desperation, pretty much, and greed. So, while Simba is angry, yes, Kiara disobeyed, and he still cares and loves her, whereas with Zero towards Kovu, she just sees him more as a tool to get what she wants, pretty much. And basically, over the years, she brainwashes Kovu into basically becoming a unstoppable killer, pretty much. Basically a younger version of Scar, a more brute version of Scar, because he's not supposed to be. At the end of the day, she doesn't see him as smart or intelligent, just, another male brute to have under her control. And this is my personal belief, but I believe that Zero would eventually get rid of Kovu and take control of the Pride Lands herself, because I don't believe that Zero, after watching this movie quite a few times, it's my belief that Zero won't answer to anyone. Maybe if Scar had still been alive, she would have been happy living under him, but now that he's gone, pretty much, no, she's the one that has to be in charge, and she's not going to answer to anyone. Pretty much, so. And during this time, too, Kiara's been growing up as well. She's still Kiara, she's still very rebellious against her father. She finds some sympathy with her mother, Nala, because obviously them both being female, and because they both, like Nala in the original movie ran away from the Pride Land she did, rebelling against what she thought was wrong, and obviously Kiara's doing the same. Like, she feels, again, Simba's like trying to put her too much into the pretty princess box and not letting her be herself, basically, because Simba wants to be like Mufasa. He wants to nail being Mufasa, and unfortunately that leads into making these mistakes, which are mistakes that any parent can make with children, honestly. Anyway, that's all I've got time for this video. Sorry guys, my voice is just messed up at the moment, and I am just really struggling, as you can tell, to tell the story. So, until next time, guys. Oh, sorry. So, if there was any part of this video that you liked or disliked, or any suggestions for future videos that you guys have, please let me know in the comments below. Feel free to like, subscribe, or just comment down below in the comment section. Anyways, guys, I've got to go, so hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be part 2 of this video. I might do that later today, or I might do that another day. Just have to wait and see. Alright, see you guys.